How's it going, guys? My name is Micah with Crash Course Code, and this is going to be the 24th video in this Java programming series. In this video, we're going to cover something called multidimensional arrays. So this is going to be something like if you use like Excel, so like spreadsheets, things like that. Multidimensional arrays are a really good way of representing data that's in something like a table. So we're just going to create an array. It's going to be an integer array to start. And so now we have an array right now. This is the array indicator. Let's just name this array. We're going to call this just num array. And we're going to set this equal to a new int array. So this is our statement. We've seen this before. It's giving us an error right here because we haven't actually initialized the number of values in here. So I'm going to say this is going to be 2. Now we have our line that's initializing our array. Nothing new here. So to create a multi-dimensional array, all you have to do is you have to add another set of brackets to the array here. So this might start looking a little bit complicated as we go through this, and it might not make sense the first time, everything I talk about here, but don't worry about it. I just want you guys to maybe just get exposed to it, just because if you end up having to use this in the future, you guys will definitely be able to understand and work with it. So now we have this multidimensional array. Let's say we want it to be 2 and 3. What this is saying is it's going to create an array that's going to have 2 rows and 3 columns here. So I'm going to do one thing really quick. I'm just going to create a couple variables. I'm going to say int rows equals 2 and int columns equals 3. And I'm doing this just so it's less confusing and also so we can more easily loop through all the values within this multidimensional array. So I'm going to I'll type some of this out so you guys can visualize it after we set all this up. So we're going to do num array. We want the value at the 0th row, so the first row, and the 0th column, so the first column here. I'm going to just call this value 1. Now I'm going to copy this 6 times because if we have 2 rows and 3 columns, we're going to have 6 total values in our multidimensional array because it's just 2 times 3. So we're going to say, still in the 0th row, in the index of 1 column, put the value of 2. And let's just change these values, keep it simple, 1 through 6 here. And now in the first column, 0th column, with the in the column index of 2, we're going to put 3. And this is sounding probably super confusing, so I'm just going to fill all these out. I'm going to show you guys exactly what this means. So basically what we have now is we have something that looks like this. You can visualize the data like this. We have, you see in our 0th row, so we have a row here that's going to be the 0th row, and we have the 1 row. We have the 0, 1, 2. So this is our table. You see, so in the 0th row, we have the value of 1. In 0, 1, we have the value of 2. In 0, 2, we have the value of 3. And so on and so forth, all the way through 6. So these are just the row numbers, the 0, 1, and the 0, 1, 2, 3. And these are the actual values in here, these 6 numbers right here. So what we want to do is we want to just print out all of the output within our multidimensional array. And we're going to use this, we're going to do this by using a for loop. A couple for loops actually. So we're going to do for int I equals 0, I is less than rows, I plus plus. So we want to loop through every single row in this multidimensional array. Because we set the rows variable before and set it to num array, we don't actually have to get the number of rows from the array itself because it's saved in this variable. And so it's going to go through all the rows in this array. In this case, it's only 2 rows. So as soon as we jump into this, we're going to actually create another for loop. So we're going to do for int j equals 0, j is less than column j plus plus. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want to go through every column in each row now. So it goes through the rows, and it goes through the value in each of the columns within that row. So we use the value of j instead of I. When you are nesting for loops. All nesting means is you're putting a for loop within another for loop. You change this variable to the next letter in the alphabet, so it goes I, J, K, so on and so forth. You generally don't get much more than 3 nested for loops though, so I, J, and K are the main ones that you use. But yeah, so now we are looping through, right now we're looping through all of the values within our array. So now we actually have to do something with them. So we want to say, we just want to do system.out.print. We're going to do num array I, J. Okay, this is going to probably be the kind of scary looking part, most scary looking part of this video here. So what we're saying is we just want to get the row, the current row that we're at, which is the I here, and then the column that we're looping through within that row, which is the J. So you see that every single row we go through is going to have a for loop that goes through all the columns. So it's going to go first row, bam, bam, bam. Second row, bam, bam, bam. And that's how we're going to get all the values within this multidimensional array. And you're seeing all we're doing is we're going to print out the number and we're going to put in a space. At the end of this for loop, while we're looping through the columns, we want to put a new line here, just so after it goes through all the columns, we go to a new line so you can visualize the data a little better. So all you have to do to put in a new line is put system.out.println with empty parentheses in here. And this is going to be it, guys. So if you run this, you're going to see something pretty cool. You're going to see that our array is now printing out, and we can actually visualize what's going on within our array. So you see that it went through, started on the first row, printed out each column we had here, so the 1, 2, and 3, looped around, did this print line statement, so it moved down to the next line, did another for loop through the next row, and printed that 4, 5, and 6. So that is multidimensional arrays. You can have arrays that are 3, so they're basically 3D arrays by just adding another set of brackets here. And you can use these arrays for mapping like actual objects, so like the kind of material that's in a 3D object, for instance. And some of the stuff you can do with these 3-dimensional arrays is pretty awesome when you actually get into it. But for now, this is just the basic introduction to them, so you guys kind of get exposed to it. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up. That really helps me out. And I will see you guys in the next video.